What is up, Retro Maniacs? Welcome to Retro Card Chat Podcast. My name is Mike. I am from Mike's Retro Trading Cards, and I'm joined by the other two stooges. They are Joe Day and EP Eric Pahowick. How you doing, guys?
Doing great.
Doing great.
I'm clearly Mo. I think EP's Larry and you're Curly. I don't know.
I think I'd be Curly.
Wait, which one's the fat one that's bald?
That's Curly.
Yeah. Then I'm Curly.
Yeah, you're definitely.
We're both fat, but
I mean,
I'm
Larry's bald too.
Oh, he had that curly hair and the bald.
Yeah.
I say for the next podcast, we get our hair done in the characters that we portray.
Negative. No way.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. Not going to happen. But, you know,
I'm
we're
already there.
Talk about some cards this week.
Wait, first off, let me crack open a beer. It's been a little while. Cheers, boys.
Wow.
I'm back off the wagon after, I guess, 6 days, 7 days.
I have to go look at cards, so I can't drink.
That's true. That's true. So. You are checking out a collection, I believe.
I am. Yeah. We'll keep everybody updated. I don't know what to say right now. I'm buying some non-sports card packs. That deal's done. He gave me a $10 discount if I drive there to pick them up. But he's like, while you're here, why don't you check out all the other stuff? So it's a guy that I've been buying stuff at the card shows here. So God only knows what I might leave with. Who knows? Maybe nothing. Well, maybe nothing.
So Mike, you didn't mind that you had to drive there because you have a Tesla, which is a battery operated car. You don't have to pay for gas. And where I'm going with this is Dan from Crack the Packs on Twitter sent me a box of Rick and Morty cards that I ripped. It's going to be up on the channel at some point. He also sent me some freebies. One of those freebies, my friend, is going to you. It is a Tesla rookie card.
Nice.
So I saw this
logo.
It does. I noticed that too. Really cool. Actually pretty cool design. I don't know what it's from, but yeah, pretty cool. So look at me giving gifts.
I deserve them. I really feel for all the work I put in. I really do deserve it. Yeah. So thank you.
I'm giving you
but
this.
Do I have to
thank
you
videos.
if I deserve it?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
But
okay, thank you, Joe.
This is a thank you for editing all the videos to post on YouTube. Just mine, not EP's. EP has to bribe you for.
Yeah, what do you have for me, EP?
I got nothing here at the moment. I mean, if you want, I can give you this.
It looks like you have plenty around.
Pokemon coin.
Ooh, wow,
that's shiny.
And I have this packing tape.
Oh, nice.
That's clutch stuff right there.
And
I find it kind of ironic you have Pokemon coin there. So
and a Mark Martin $1 phone card from probably 1992
Do you
or
think
something.
It still works?
Was it used or not?
It was not used.
Not scratched off?
I'm going to use
Perfect.
that then. Definitely take that. $1 phone card. That would have gotten
So there you go, Mike. That is your thank you for editing our videos.
Well, I thank you. And not only that, I also want to take a second to thank Dustin, the sports card dad. Yeah. Saturday afternoon, he has a little project going on there where he's featuring some content from other content creators. And he asked us if we would be willing to do it. So we shot a video last week. Some of you may have watched our first one where we did 5 terms that sports card collectors need to stop using. And we did another 5 terms. And he put that video up on Saturday afternoon. So if you are interested and you haven't watched it yet, definitely go to the Sports Card Dad YouTube channel and check out our second part of that series, which is pretty cool. But very cool of Dustin to do that for us. I mean, for whatever reason, he's been a big supporter of us and our channel for pretty much since the start almost. And again, don't know why, but I really do want to thank him because he's a good guy. And he's in this for the right reasons, I think.
Yeah. And I think I just checked it. We're over 1,700 people have watched that video, which is the biggest audience that our silly little podcast has ever gotten. So we definitely appreciate the spotlight. We've grown as a channel several times because of Dustin giving a shout out. So we do really appreciate it. I will say we did take a couple of drive-bys from some folks.
Fair. They're fair.
They're fair. I'm fine.
Yep.
You know, the word hack might have been thrown out there. Maybe Three Stooges, if you just heard the intro, that might have been thrown out there, which we wear that with a badge of honor.
Absolutely.
I compliment. Highest compliment.
I will say, I said this to you boys before we started recording. The only thing that actually bothered me is the people who didn't realize that there was a part 1, even though it was mentioned numerous times in the video, because they were like, well, what about eBay 101? What about Grail Card? Why didn't you mention those? Go watch part 1. If you happen to stumble across us, please go watch part 1. It is in the archives. I would strongly recommend it.
Yeah, meeting Dustin at the National was a highlight, easily one of the biggest highlights of the weekend. And he's an awesome guy, and I'm so glad that he helped us out. And we met him through this, and it's great.
Next time we have to have a couple beers with him, though.
Oh yeah,
sit around, and just talk a little bit and make some chat. Yeah, I mean, such a cool thing. And you know what? As for the comments, like I'm shocked that anybody watches any of our content and actually comments on it at all. Like I would just starting this, I figured we just have a list of people telling us how stupid we are.
Yep,
and I'm not saying they're wrong. They might be right. But we do this to have fun, and maybe it resonates with some people. We don't have any other reason to do this. Like I don't know, other than Joe's huge endorsement deals, but that's because he's Joe Day. Absolutely.
That's true. And if you're ever at Myrtle Beach, stop by Nacho Hippo.
Oh, I've been there.
And use promo code Joe Day.
And they'll look at you like, what?
That'd be fantastic. That would be fantastic.
I do want to take a second to acknowledge a award winner that we have on this podcast.
Ooh,
that guy right down there. You know how we joke all the time about the guy? Well, it's not really a joke, but the guy literally works like 20 hours a day every day.
Right.
But apparently all that hard work paid off, and he is the proud recipient of the Designer of the Year award. So let's give a big applause for EP. That's pretty impressive.
Clap.
Thank you.
Very cool. Very cool.
Speech.
I am designing newspapers, is writing the headlines and putting the stories in the right places and making sure everything's in the right place and everything's spelled correctly. And so it's a pretty vital part of the newspapering itself. So nobody in my company has won that since we've been owned by our parent company, which goes back to 2005.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people have tried to win it. A lot of people thought they had a chance, and I was the first one to actually win it. So that feels pretty awesome. So a couple people that I really respect, that are really better designers than me, have not won it, and then I would end up winning.
Apparently not. Apparently
they are better than you. You have the award. Take that.
That's true.
I got the award.
And there was, don't give any details about the amount because it would be in poor taste, but there was a cash prize. There's a bonus in this. And from what I understand, you're using all of that for cards. Is that correct, EP?
Yes, for the card operation.
In theory,
yes.
In theory, it is being used for the card operation.
Let's go.
So. Fire.
I'm not buying cards with it, but it is being used for the card operation.
That is fire.
Yes, that is fire. Boom. Boom.
Let's go.
Anybody under the age of 40 that's tried to watch us.
Yep.
Yeah, they're like, what's a newspaper? First off, what's a newspaper?
Yeah. Well, congratulations, EP. I mean, we joke a little bit, but that's a really big accomplishment.
Very cool.
And we're proud of you. And who else would you rather have be proud of you than Joe and myself? Seriously. And we are now officially the only YouTube content creators that have an award winner on our panel. Just saying.
Yeah. Like a real
Others
world
may try,
award
but he's the real deal right down there. Okay, so I might not have won an award, but I did have a tweet that went viral this week, which was one of the craziest things I've ever had happen. So I was at Doc's card shop the other day digging through boxes. I found the 1992 Upper Deck SP3 of Deion Sanders, the one where he, has the multiple pictures of him. He turning from a football player into a baseball player running off the base. It's an iconic card. And I just posted a picture of it. I said, this is one of the coolest cards that was ever made. And somehow I had a lot of people that agreed with me. And the tweet has over 97,000 views and like almost 1,800 likes for just posting a Junk Wax era card. Like, I think that's pretty cool. And, you know, for what we do here and what we love and what we appreciate, to see to do something that simple and have so many other people jump onto it and grab a hold and say, yeah, I like that too, was pretty amazing.
Well, I mean, it does help you have the, you know, you and Elon, you're tight. So he made sure you hit that algorithm, that wave. And
because I own a Tesla, obviously.
Right,
like, oh yeah, he's a Tesla owner.
He's a Tesla owner.
The algorithm. Like they have that built into the code. Oh,
right, exactly.
Tesla X4 on
but no, that is one of the coolest cards, and it takes you back to a time where people actually did kind of cool things. It wasn't just the same stuff being churned over and over. And you know, there's only a handful of players that could ever say they did what Deion Sanders did. I mean, it is a very, very cool card. And to be able to 100,000 views, that's just crazy. I asked Mike if he was getting monetized, you know, kind of pay for some of the stuff for the channel, but apparently that's not a thing on Twitter that I know of. So we need to get 100,000. We need 100,000 views for the channel. We should have put that card on the channel. Come on.
Should have. I'm thinking it might not have worked the same way there.
that was from 92, right? You said 92. Yeah. I mean, like those products are almost worthless, right? There's almost nothing of value, quote unquote value of financially there. But I mean, the coolness of that card coupled with Deion Sanders being, you know, Coach Sanders, you know, Coach Prime or whatever now, like the combination of that is definitely very, very cool. And
he's in Colorado, cool. Right?
I think so. Yeah. It's
they
cool.
had their spring game on ESPN yesterday.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Jeez.
Colorado's spring game. And they were interviewing Cordell Stewart and whatnot. And I'm like, that's Deion Sanders' team, right? It's crazy. Like he is like just blown up. Absolutely blown up.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, speaking of blowing things up, we've blown up this channel, kind of. Sort of a little bit. We talked like a few weeks ago. We went over 500 subscribers and we said we were going to have a little live stream to celebrate it. We do believe that this coming Saturday, which will be April 29th at 8 p.m. Eastern time, I think we're finally going to do our little live stream celebration. I kind of threw things off with having my stack sale for 2 weekends in a row. We had Easter in there somewhere. So we're a little late, but if people want to join us this Saturday night, and we'll talk about cards and maybe rip some stuff, maybe have a couple beers. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I can
guarantee you that last one is definitely going to happen.
Kind of figured that part, yeah.
And after I get a beer in me, I can't stop myself from eating some like 20-year-old gum. So
you are a big fan of the 20-year-old gum, yeah.
Yeah, I might have to buy something to rip now. I have to look. I might have to.
Well, I don't know that he's going to be doing it on the live stream, but I know somebody on this channel is excited to rip 2023 Bowman baseball. I'm guessing it's Joe. No, wait, no, turn the lights off. No, it's not Joe.
Just get out of here.
So here's your segment where you get to talk about 2023 Bowman baseball for 45 minutes. Go.
I won't talk for 45, but
okay.
I'm excited about the product. I got 3 jumbo boxes coming. Typical setup, 150 card base set, 100 card base set, 150 card prospect set. It's got Drew Jones, who's the number one, kind of like number one prospect probably in baseball.
Which I just found out is Andrew Jones's son.
That's correct. That is correct.
I was really hoping it was Chipper Jones because I actually know who Chipper Jones is, but it's not his.
Well, Andrew Jones played with Chipper Jones.
Yeah, and Andrew Jones was like best defensive center fielder not named Ken Griffey Jr. probably of the 90s. So, but so those some big prospects, and there's a lot of great people out there that are better at prospecting than me. Let's Talk Wax and Striker Breaks are both. They've got some really good content out there on YouTube. I'm sure Mike will put that in the show notes for us. And then And so, but the rookie class this year, of course, is pretty fantastic. They already had some in tops and some in tops big league, and now they're gonna like Corbin Carroll, Ezekiel Tovar. Those guys are going to be in this one. And they all have, a lot of them have rookie autographs on top of their prospect autographs. There's a lot of really good stuff, a lot of fun stuff that's going to be out there. I'm excited about it.
I've heard that name, Corbin Carroll, so he must be a big deal if I've heard about it.
He's like lightning fast. I think he's got the potential for like 20-50 type player, 30-50 type player. Super fast in the field.
Play for?
The Diamondbacks, same as Drew Jones.
Yeah. Isn't he the kid that mom and dad dropped him off at the ballpark for opening day?
I'm not sure. That might have been
picture on Twitter. I'm pretty sure it was him. It was really cool. Like he actually, mom and dad dropped him off at the ballpark for opening day. Could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I'm pretty sure it was him for his opening.
I have a baseball question, EP.
Yes, go ahead.
Who is the Baltimore Orioles rookie who's doing well?
Adley Rutschman is the one that's crushing it.
Okay.
Gunnar Henderson is another one, and then Jackson Holliday is the prospect.
I think it's the first one, and I'll tell you how I know this.
Okay.
I watch Abbott Elementary. Do you guys watch Abbott Elementary? Great show. The one teacher is from Baltimore. He's a huge Baltimore Orioles fan, and they predicted he was going to hit a home run the day before he hit like his first home run or something. It was like, oh, did you see so-and-so crush that home run? And then the next day he actually crushed a home run. It was kind of crazy. So yeah, Abbott Elementary was predicting the future.
So you're saying baseball is rigged.
That's what I am saying.
What I'm hearing.
Yeah. What I was going to say is that expels the last of my baseball knowledge. That was it. I'm done now.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to talk about parallels or not?
No.
Okay.
So you're buying 3 jumbo boxes. We talked about this before we started recording. Are you a little nervous that you're buying 3 jumbo boxes and not buying because you could lose out because it's better to buy a case than it is to buy a couple of boxes that could be from different cases, right? Mm-hmm. Are you worried that you're going to lose out on some of that potential case hit stuff?
I mean, yeah, for sure. I would prefer to get it just because of the volume of autos, but these are I'm still going to get 3 autos per box. I'm still going to get 9 autos. So that's the real big push for this product is the autos and colored autos mostly, like the low numbered refractor autos. And so I'll still get a couple. I'm guessing I'll still get 1 or 2 pretty good low numbers. Whether the players are good or not, who knows? It's going to be
again that would be a crapshoot no matter if you bought boxes, right? Right. Yeah. You should have just bought a case. I don't know.
That's out of my price range.
Award winners, there is no price range for award winners.
Yeah. I think you could have done that. eBay
we could have gone thirds. We could have gone thirds.
eBay wants to give me money so bad. eBay wants to give me money so bad.
Yeah, you always get those notices from them. You can borrow $36,000.
Comment below if you've gotten those eBay credit card offers. It's very enticing.
Well, Joe might be claiming that baseball's rigged, but one sport that is rigged is professional wrestling. Oh, yes. I hope I didn't give something away there, did I? No.
What?
We're all in on the joke. But yeah,
okay, all right.
I know you guys love to talk about professional wrestling on the podcast here. So why do you do the podcast, Joe? Like you don't like to talk about anything. Yeah, you still talk a lot. But yeah, I don't know if you guys heard, but the Rock 2022 Prism 1 of 1 card just sold at auction for $126,000.
Wow.
I have a couple of things to say. One, thank you for not calling us in for any emergency podcast. I really do appreciate that.
I almost did.
You almost did. I know. Yeah, you were. Yeah, it was very close. 2, don't you have this like podcast that gets like more views than other podcasts that you do once a month? You could talk about this. I feel like we might infringe on that a little bit. You have a really good podcast. What is it? Every
I like
month?
to share with you guys too, though. Like
okay,
if I'm not talking with you guys about it, am I really even talking about it? You know, I'm a hired gun for the other show. Yeah, I'm just a host.
Joking aside about the card, I mean it's crazy. I assuming it's paid for, and it's PWCC. I'm gonna fingers crossed it wasn't shill bid. I mean, who knows with them? That's kind of why they're not on eBay anymore.
Yeah. True.
But My first question is, and EP, you probably agree with me on this one. Who's grading a 101? Why are you? Let's
Getting
talk
a
about that
7.
first. And getting a
Yeah.
7, crack that sucker. I mean, it was too high profile to crack out, but geez, who is grading a 101 card? That's kind of ridiculous. Imagine. I wonder how much it would have gone for ungraded. Part of me thinks it would have gone for more. I think if it went for 125 and a 7, I think ungraded it probably would have gone 150 maybe. I mean, I don't know, but you know how people feel about having a 7 on their cards. They're not big fans. I don't know enough about wrestling cards to really comment on if rising tide lifts all boats kind of philosophy that some people have had. But it's crazy. And I know some people are like, it's not even autoed, and it's the 101s for some reason sell more when they're not autoed. I don't know if you've noticed that. Like the Justin Herbert 101 unautoed went for more than the autoed one. I never understood that. Maybe you guys can educate me, but that's
I don't know,
can't speak
but that is the
that.
case. Yeah.
If I want
the
a
highest card ever, highest wrestling card sale ever by quite a bit.
Was that yours? You opened like 2 boxes of that Prism, right? Was that your 101?
Yeah, no, I don't think it was, but yeah, I don't know. I'll have to go back and watch the videos again and see if I got it on either of
You
those.
really don't want to go back and watch this.
No,
but the viewers might. The viewers might.
Yeah. Really trying to forget about how bad that product was. So I don't care what the rock card sold for. I didn't get it. Neither did all the other millions of people that open that stuff like at ridiculous prices. So we need to chill a little bit when you're talking about one card out of a whole set. Like, does not make the product a success when the wax prices have dropped from like $1,200 to $200.
Yeah,
is that right?
What was over one card is going to make the whole thing go up with this. If everything else is falling, that one card is there. That's an outlier. It's not the thing. So just to go back to Joe, quick on your thing, why would you grid it graded? I guess the only argument would be this is actually the card. So you have the slab.
Just authenticated then.
PSA says this is the card.
Just authenticated. Do what they did with the LeBron triple logo. Just authenticate it, because all you're going to do is hurt the value of the perceived value of the card if you have it graded. Unless you think it's a 10.
Though. Like, I mean, that card is what it is. Like the highest graded copy of it. So
I don't know. When you look at it, why would you have it graded though? It didn't look anywhere near. It didn't even look like an 8. Like at that point, I would EP. I'm with you on the authentication part of it, but you can send cards just to be authenticated and slapped. That's what I would have done with it.
I mean,
we're talking, nitpicky, but that's probably my philosophy on it.
People get a card like that though, and they think, "Oh, I got to get this grade." Like that's the thinking. Is this card is worth $100,000 or this card is worth $50,000? I need to send it and get it graded.
Well, what I'm hearing is EP likes to be transparent with his potential buyers, and Joe doesn't. But one of the companies we've often talked about needing to be transparent is Panini.
Look at these. Look at this.
And they're all drive-bys at me.
I know.
Why not? Anyway, did you guys hear that Panini is suing Fanatics and 7 former employees? We talked a couple weeks ago about how Fanatics was hiring away employees. Little did I know at the time that 34 employees left Panini in a week to go join Fanatics. Like that was, I think I saw it was like 13% of their workforce, like just gone like that. But yeah, Panini is suing them to try to protect their trade secrets and keep the former employees from trying to recruit other people to come to work for Fanatics. They applied for a temporary restraining order, but the judge ruled that Fanatics can keep hiring people that worked at Panini, but the former employees must not share any of the trade secrets and give back to Panini anything that they might have, and they're not allowed to recruit anybody while they're there. But yeah, kind of crazy. Like I don't really know what's gonna come of this, but Panini's trying like 34 employees in a week. Can you imagine that at like 13% of your workforce? EP just poof.
No, I
and
mean,
gone.
we wouldn't be able to do our job. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
I'm not sure
crazy.
exactly how
You
much
just have to do
redundancy-
12 other people's jobs, EP.
I'm already doing 12 people's jobs, Joe. I can't do 12 more. There's, I mean, there's no redundancy at our place. I don't know how much redundancy they have at their place as far as people that can do certain things, but I mean, like, if there are 2 or 3 people that do like essential work, and those 2 or 3 people were among those 34 people that left, like, you are SOL.
And
I mean,
the 7 that are named in the suit, a lot of those were high-ranking people in the organization there, so they were important people to Panini. And I mean, this could be tough. Like, you have to wonder that it has to have some kind of impact on their upcoming releases, stuff they're working on, whatever it is. Like, it can't be easy to just kind of a specific thing, trading cards. So you're not going to find a whole lot of people that have a ton of experience to just replace people with, I would think.
Right.
So,
or even having people on staff that can take over certain jobs. Like, there's probably very specific jobs for some people.
I'm blown away at the hubris by Panini to not have non-compete clauses in their contracts when they hired these people. That tells you all you need to know about Panini thinking they took over the world when they started getting all of these exclusive licenses, because it blows my mind. I work at a sewage treatment plant. Okay. I do government relations at a sewage treatment plant. Our directors sign non-compete clauses. You can't, we have if a director leaves and goes to a company that is doing some of our contract work, they can't work specifically for us for like a year. Like, it's just to have that at a local sewage treatment plant, but not have it at the largest trading card company at the time in the world is mind blowing to me, that they wouldn't have non-compete, or they wouldn't have them sign NDAs, that they had to go to a judge to say you can't give trade secrets. What is happening? Like, how is it possible that Panini was just like, whatever, we don't need to safeguard our trade secrets and keep our employees?
Well, Panini did try to have them sign on exit. They were supposed to sign an exit.
Yeah, that's not how you do it.
And the 7 people are like, no, we're good.
Yeah,
they refused to sign it.
Like, that's not how you do it. That's hilarious to me. It's like if an employee could retroactively, like on an exit interview, say, oh yeah, and I also want a $250,000 a year raise for my pension or something. Like, no, that's not. I mean, that's something you negotiate at the front end, not the back end.
Apparently, they offered them quite a bit of money to stay, and they still said no, we're gone. I mean, like, if you stay,
it's like getting a free meal at the Titanic. Why would
in a couple of years you're not going to have a job really anyway,
right?
And they're going to have to make cuts because that's 13% of their workforce. Like, they're not going to have that many people working if they don't have a license anymore, I would imagine. So I can see where the people would want to go to the new big ship instead of the Titanic. So.
And you get on the ground floor of Fanatics. Sure, maybe in 2 years or whatever, when they have all the licenses and Panini starts to, get smaller and smaller, I'm sure Fanatics will still be looking for people, but you've worked in a corporate situation, EP. You want to be the first one in the door. You don't want to be the one that you're, begging for scraps. I mean, these people are very smart in jumping off now, taking maybe a little bit less money, but their future is kind of secure. So I have a question for you, Mike. So you've been saying that you think Fanatics is going to be able to get the license from Panini, maybe even get it as a subsidiary, or just kind of contract.
Yeah, I'm not thinking that as much now.
Okay, just making sure.
I'm kind of thinking the lawsuit kind of might throw that idea I had for the basketball thing a couple weeks ago.
Okay,
yeah. I'll say I'm wrong. Like,
yeah.
I never said I was right, but yeah, that would have been my hunch. But
yeah, as soon as I saw that, I'm like, it's not looking great.
Whether or not they actually have an NBA license, if they do, it's because they did something with the league and it not any kind of a deal.
Yeah,
with
not any deal with
Panini.
Panini
So,
at this point. Yeah, a little bad blood there, I would suspect.
I would think so too. And Joe, you brought up when we talked about it the first time too, being a little worried about Fanatics hiring all these Panini people. They've hired
said, "Oh, it's only 7
in a week.
Now it's 34."
So right. I'm starting to think, well, you might be onto something there. I guess we'll find out if it's actually the people working there or if it's the leadership of the company.
Yeah, like I think I said it before too. I wonder how many of those people were like, "Gosh, I'm sick and tired of making the same Prism product every year, the same Select product every year," and they just wanted to do something with some more artistic. Just design something better,
I wonder if they got the guy that decided to put Photoshop Trae Young playing against his team on the Monopoly Prism.
Well, that actually, I found out that is a scrimmage.
Okay.
A scrimmage. So
it wasn't Photoshop.
It wasn't photoshopped, but why they chose to pick scrimmage images of him playing against his teammates is beyond me.
Why they choose to use combine photos for a product that comes out 6 months after the draft is beyond me.
Because it's easy, right?
They do it. It's easy. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We've talked about the lack of photography in trading cards, so let's hope that Fanatics changes that. But yeah,
don't touch our Stadium Club. Leave our Stadium Club photos as they are.
It'll definitely be a fun one to watch. And again, we've talked about Paul Lesko before. If you don't follow him on Twitter, he is the guy that talks about all these hobby lawsuits and does it in a informative and entertaining way. So definitely
he's actually
follow
a
him.
lawyer.
He is a lawyer, yes.
He's actually a lawyer.
We
just
has
play
fantastic content. And I love his excitement every time a new hobby lawsuit comes up. So he's a great follow, and make sure you follow him there because that's where most of that info came from. Talking about stealing people's info, we're going to talk a little bit about a video we watched by Dan the Card Man. He's a guy a content creator on YouTube. I'm sure most people know. We're fans of his channel. I something about people with an Australian accent. They're just fun to listen to.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm like, yeah, what he's saying, because I like that accent. But no, he actually made a really good point in one of his videos this week about graders notes and grading. And I know, Joe, this is something you wanted to talk about, but he talked about how the graders actually do these notes in doing the grading to come up with the grades. So why is it so hard for them to share that with the consumer?
Yeah, I mean, you look over my right shoulder and I have comic books. Comic books under a certain grade, they have graders notes. I don't understand what's so difficult about cards. And we've talked about this several times, but usually in the context of BGS is the lone wolf out there now doing subgrades, and subgrades are the closest thing to graders notes that card collectors are ever going to get, in my opinion. I don't think they're ever going to release graders notes on a regular basis. So, you look at someone like BGS and people complain about them all the time, yet people also want to know why their card graded lower than it, in their opinion, should have. Graders notes cuts right through that. Graders notes tells you why this card is a 7. I'm not saying for me, I don't need graders notes on a 9 because it's kind of like a
some
totally
people would though.
thing. Some people
are
absolutely
like, well, why did my card not get a 10?
Right.
I'm thinking there might be more people that want that than
that is
7.
completely that is completely true. I mean, I'm just looking at it from the comic book perspective, where if it's a 9 and over, they don't provide graders notes, and then anything under a 9 they do. But in terms of cards, yeah, you're right, Mike. It's like you want to know what's that little, is it that far off in centering? Is there a scratch on it somewhere? Why did this not get a 10? Because in cards, the difference between a 9 and a 10 is astronomical in terms of value. An 8 and a 9, not really. A 7 and an 8, not really. It's when you see that 9 to a 10 that makes a big difference. And it's also huge when you send in a card and you think, oh, this has a potential to be a 9 or 10. It comes back a 6. So I
had a couple of those.
You had a couple of those, right? And we all have had, cards that we thought were at least 2 or 3 grades off. So why are they that off? They're three people look at your cards generally, right? It's
Mhm.
the grader goes through QA1, goes through QA2 in terms of PSA. There's some, different graders do it different ways, but how can they not provide graders notes when there's a card that, come on, really a 6, So that's my philosophy on it.
Yeah, I've watched a lot of not a lot, but I watched a bunch of reveals lately, and pretty much every reveal, there's at least one card where they're like, they look at it and they're like, I don't see it, and they flip it over. It's like, I don't know what it is. Eliko 3, we've talked about a lot. Like he seems to know what it is that causes these things, but there are even times when he looks at it and says, I just don't understand. I'm going to crack this out and send it to probably down to SGC. So yeah, I would love to know again, like the 9 to 10, considering the difference in the price, and tell me what makes this go from a 9 to a 10, and then I'll be okay with it. I wonder if the outrage, I wonder if they like the outrage, if because it keeps them in people's eyes, like they keep hearing the name. So I'm not sure.
Maybe they randomly throw those couple bad grades into an order. I mean, anybody that watched my non-sports card reveal, like those rock cards, I got 6s on a couple of those. I looked at every single one of those like thoroughly. They were all very similar. I'm not like, the 9s didn't surprise me. I was like, okay, maybe they'll grade this tiny little thing. But when I got the 6, like, I'm like, I don't get it. Like, I don't see it. I sold a Jerry Garcia the other day. I had a 6 on one. I got 9s on the other 2. And like, I was packing it up the other day and I was like, my God, this is the nicest looking 6. Like no wonder this person bought the card. Like, it's beautiful. Like, I don't get it. And everybody seems to have those. It would be nice to know. But my question is, wouldn't it slow down their process of being able to grade as many cards as they're trying to grade?
I mean, if according to Dan, they do these graders notes anyway. So the grader has to provide some sort of written note. That feels like take your notes, hand them to an admin, and have them type them up into the registry. I mean, I don't think it
But
would
if you're
take.
doing that for like 1.2 million cards a month, like, you would need a lot of people to be able to process those graders notes. And if you have to hire that many people, you're probably going to have to charge more for your grading. That's my concern.
So his suggestion, I believe, and I watched the video when it first came out, and I didn't rewatch it before we recorded, which I should have. But
Should have, yeah.
He back off. You've been drive-bying me all day after I gave you a card.
I don't have it yet.
Gift. Now you won't ever have it, my friend. But anyway,
that's the thing people don't understand. You act like you're going to give me that stuff, and then you don't do it.
You lying sack of horse shit. So anyway. Where's my Loki card that I gave you? I want it back. So anyway, I mean, Dan did mention that there are, or he did suggest that you could charge for that. I think some people would. If it's a high enough valued card and you have to pay $5, I would pay for that if it made sense. I mean, I think,
but that won't eliminate the problem of me getting a 6 on a card that I'm like, what was it? Because I wasn't going to pay extra on the lower end. And you have all these people that, like, it's only going to handle the upper end of stuff. Like, I don't know. I think in theory it's fantastic. We should all know that would be great. But at the end of the day, I question how much demand there really is for it if it would add cost. I think PSA wants to just grade as many cards as they possibly can so they can make as much money as they possibly can. And I think people want them to grade their cards.
That's true, but that's not good.
Well, but you need to let me finish. On the other side of that, you have collectors that want them to be able to grade their cards, do it cheaply, and do it quickly. So as good as it would be, I don't think the demand would be big enough for it. It's a great idea. Everybody would say, yeah, but if it's going to mean I get my cards back slower, and it's going to cost me more to grade
Oh,
them.
yeah.
Then they're going to be like, oh, well, then no, I'm not going to do that.
Because people in general are terrible. So like they want everything. No, I'm serious. They want everything. Give me everything. Give me
Humans.
everything for the same price. Give me everything for as quickly as possible, and then I'll be happy. Like, it's just how it is. That's how people, it's our McDonald's, our fast food country. And unfortunately, people want everything, but they're not willing to give anything. So if I want graders notes, would I have to wait an extra 2 weeks for my cards? I'd be fine with that. But people want graders notes, and they would want their cards quicker. You know,
For
they
the
would want
same
them
price. Yeah.
for the same
So,
price. I mean,
and
yeah,
that's the
so
problem with it. That's all
that
I'm
is the
saying.
problem.
Like, yeah, that's why I don't think it will ever really come to be.
My question for you guys is, what do you think PSA is doing with those notes? If they have to provide them anyway, what do you think they're doing with them? I know what I think, what I hope that they're doing with it, but what do you guys think what do you think they're there for?
If people complain, there is a to submit your you did it with your Kobe, right, Mike? You had to send it back. I did it with a Breeze rookie card.
But they're
at
not,
one
they
point.
weren't checking notes. They're just looking the card over again. Like, it's basically being regraded. Like, they're having a greater look at the one that you had a problem with, and then they
I mean,
like they
I would
determine.
hope they cross-reference with the person who graded it before, but I guess it's a lazy company, is what I'm hearing. Is that what you're saying, Mike? That PSA is lazy and don't want to do that, or
I'm
I
not
mean, they
saying they're
should be
lazy. I'm just saying they're a company that wants to make profit, and they're probably doing things to just get it quick.
So why are they even doing graders notes? Are we thinking Dan mischaracterized that, or do we think they actually do graders notes?
I mean, I'm sure the grader knows why he gave that a grade. I don't know what they do with them. I don't know if it's physically written down. I don't know. I would imagine it's not really kept anywhere. Might just be in the moment for, to figure out what the card grade was. But I mean, I can't say for certain that they have a physical copy of it or what they do with it. I don't know what that is. So
I wish we had more transparency from PSA. We pay a lot of money to get our cards graded. We do.
we've been saying that for a long time, but we all know it's just
Right,
like
because they're making money
incentive
hand
to
over
do it
fist.
because
Right.
they're grading a ton of cards, and Ziggy talks about this all the time. Until we as the collector demand it and stop putting up with the way companies are, they're just going to keep doing it. So, really at the end of the day, it falls on the collector themselves and the people that are like, well, yeah, I'd love graders notes, but I'm not paying more for it, and
I'm not going to wait any longer. Right.
Longer, forget it. So,
what
and
did
by
I say
the way,
about
PSA, send me my vintage card order that you graded. Has been done it's been 10 days now, and it still isn't shipped. I'm guess I'm going to have to try to contact somebody there, but come on, what's going on? That's a problem.
It's been graded this whole time.
Yeah.
Wow.
We're recording on Sunday. It was a week ago Thursday that I got the email that the grades were finished, and it hasn't shipped. So yeah, I'm a little concerned that they lost my cards.
Last time they lost their cards, it worked out pretty well for you.
It did, yeah, but this time I don't have any way for it to work out to be, but it'll be good content. But okay, let's move this on to our final little topic. You've been watching the podcast this whole time. They're like, oh, yes, they didn't talk about it. if you were waiting for us to talk about it and happy that we didn't, just stop listening right now. But yes, we're going to talk about Geoff Wilson and Disney Lorcana and Pokemon. Just a little bit. I don't want to give Geoff any more publicity than he already has. Clearly, his whole point in doing all this was to work Pokemon collectors into a frenzy and get his name out there to people that probably didn't know it to begin with. But yeah, Geoff Wilson declared that the Disney Lorcana card game that's coming out, I think in the fall, is going to overtake Pokemon in the US. We'll just talk quickly about that statement, and then we'll go into the bigger issue.
EP, you're the Pokemon expert.
Not going to happen. Not going to happen. No. Pokemon is entrenched. It's got one of the big issues. I'm not sure exactly where we're going to go with this, but I mean, like, Pokemon is a game that is popular, and people that play it find it easy to play, find it fun to play, and it's collectible on top of that. So it's got this like perfect storm, and it's been that since 1996 in Japan and 1999 in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
I never collected Pokemon. I never played Pokemon. I never did Pokemon Go. I never did any of these Pokemon things. I think it's ridiculous to say that only people know Charizard and Pikachu. I can rattle off a few more than that.
Well, I mean, you're the biggest Pokemon
I
consigner
am.
on the
I'm
podcast.
a huge consigner of Pokemon
On the East
cards.
Coast, probably.
Yeah, probably.
But it's just we were talking before we started recording, Mike, when you were working on your audio issues. EP and I were talking about he's never seen Hercules. I mean, it's a Disney movie that's been out for how long? EP's never seen it. And I don't know if you're going to mention the young man who did the video in response to Geoff, but he made a good point. Like, he started rattling.
Bud, was that his name?
Yeah, I believe it was.
I mean that. First of all, let me just interrupt you quickly. Out of all this, the silver lining is I've learned of Opossum Bud and his content, and amazing. Just
very entertaining. Go watch that video if you haven't.
I now have a new content creator I'm going to watch just because he's so entertaining. Continue.
But he made a good point. Who really knows? Like, sure, everyone knows Daffy Duck and whatever, but there are like minor characters that they're going to bring up in this game. That EP, would you know the villains of the Hercules movie?
No.
Yeah, like there's characters in Disney that people don't know. And one last point, I will say his name one time. Geoff Wilson was using Star Wars and Marvel as is. Everyone knows Captain America. Everyone knows Obi-Wan Kenobi. I don't think they're in the Disney Lorcana set. I think it's just Disney characters, right? Like specifically Disney characters. I could be wrong.
Can I point something out? Both Marvel and Star Wars have collectible card games.
Yes.
They aren't as popular as Pokemon. They didn't overtake Magic the Gathering either. Like, you're talking about two huge franchises that tried trading card games, and they're not as popular as Pokemon. So already,
and everyone knows Marvel characters. Everyone knows Marvel.
Your thought process is a little flawed there. And one of the things with Disney is the market for Disney and the market for a collectible card game, in my opinion, don't match up. Disney is popular with younger children and adults that have children. There's a gap in between. Like, you're not going to find a lot of middle schoolers that think that Disney characters, like the standard Disney characters, are cool. You don't see kids in junior high with Mickey Mouse on their clothing. The collectible card games like Magic the Gathering and Pokemon fill that age group a little more, and I think that's what the trouble they're going to have is like. Before
Lorcana's going to have to be really good, like really, really good as a game to be able to hit that market, right? To be able to break into that.
I don't know if that's even true because people don't generally play Pokemon in the collectible space. They send them off to be graded, right? I mean,
a lot of people play Pokemon.
A lot of people play.
No, that's a hugely played game.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
massive.
why they're as popular as collectibles. You do have people that have gotten into it just for the collectability, but yeah, that has a huge player base like Magic the Gathering does. So like it's a game first and a collectible second.
Okay.
But like who are you playing the game with if you're a parent? Like your 5-year-old, your 7-year-old. Like I don't think the markets really match up on that. So I think that will be difficult. And like, how many Disney sets have been put out over the years? There's never been a really popular Disney set until the current Disney 100 one that's put out the Asian market. But like a lot of that too is because somebody knows, there's not a lot of this made and it has some cool stuff in it. But overall, I think it's going to have a really hard time.
Opossum Bud made a good Am I saying that right? It's weird to say those
We
two
think
words
so.
together, by the way.
We could be totally wrong and
All
we'll be
right.
idiots, but yeah.
All right.
We'll,
Comment below.
we'll fix
Three
it in
Stooges
post.
right here. Yeah. Oh, Possum Bud made a good to that point, Mike. He made a good comment that there is already I guess, a Disney TCG, and no one buys it, like, or it's not as collectible. So I don't know. Like, I think it will bring in more collectors, but it's not going to be like everyone who has all this Pokemon stuff is going to be like, oh, Disney made a trading card game. I'm not even going to look at my Pokemon stuff anymore, and I'm going to go and start collecting that. I think that you would need that to happen for a Disney card game to overtake Pokemon, right? You would need
it's not gonna
Pokemon people to
happen.
just stop liking Pokemon, right?
You would need people to move in from the Pokemon space and probably the Yu-Gi-Oh space and probably the Magic space, like all these different spaces, into move all over to this brand new product, and that's going to be just impossible. Like
I will say that the most offensive thing that was said in his video, "He Who Should Not Be Named's video," was isn't our country's obsession with Pokemon weird? I didn't like that. That seemed really like, dude, we collect cards with players' faces on them and display them behind us. That just was really off-putting to me and offensive to people who actually, and again, he's doing it for the likes, he's doing it for the views. I get that. But Mike, you made a very good point several pods ago where I tried to say, any publicity is good publicity. I don't know if this is great publicity when you're calling Pokemon collectors weird, right? You stopped me and said, no, bad publicity is bad publicity. This isn't great if you're calling Pokemon collectors and their obsession with Pokemon weird.
Well, I didn't really want to have to talk about it that much, but one of the things, he's clearly pumping this product. Like, we can all see that. Whatever motivation he has to pump the product, I don't know. But here's my problem with the whole thing. You have this guy who is probably the biggest YouTuber for sports cards. Now, he's clearly pumping this product. What's going to happen is he's going to have a lot of people watching his video, and they're going to start buying this up as an investment. And the people that actually want it, that want to play the game, are going to have to pay a lot of money to get it. And that's the problem I have with it. That's the problem with pumping for whatever reason. My guess is he probably missed out on the Disney 100 set that went up in value. So he's has some kind of an allocation for this, and he's working to promote it so he can make some money on it. I don't know, just a guess. But like, you hurt the people that actually want to play the game, the actual collector. You're pumping something up for your own means while hurting all the people that want to play it. Just doesn't sit well with me. And that's the big problem we have in this industry. And it pisses me off. Like, how are you going to grow this game if the kids that want to play it can't afford it because their parents are like, holy crap, $400 for that booster box? So the people that are trying to make money off it can make money. Like, it's so gross, and it's one of the worst things in our hobby, yet we see it over and over and over again.
And the word I was going to use was gross. Like that's the bottom line. Like I don't like to yuck other people's yums. That's not my game. But there were so many bad takes in this video, and
on purpose.
It's all incendiary language. It's all to change people's opinions, or to try to change people's opinions, and like to make people think things that aren't true in a lot of cases. And that is gross is the perfect word. Like, it was very frustrating. And as somebody, as a collector, somebody who would be like, you know what, I might actually try to go out and get a box of this stuff. If it shoots up in price, there's no way I will overpay for it. But I mean, like, it would be a cool product to get some of and look at and open and that sort of stuff. But situations like this where stuff gets pumped way up, like I'm afraid that I won't be able to get any of it.
And Mike, you're being very political with, like, not you're using very good language and not saying that he's actually putting money behind this and all those things. I will say I would not put it past him, because we know his obsession with buying sealed wax. Like, that is a thing that Geoff Wilson talks about all the time, is his sealed wax collection, how much money he has invested in it. So I would not put it past him in the least and having some sort of allocation on this, sitting it in his vault and just hoping that people just start shelling out. But again, who's going to, if you're number one, you're hoarding it. And you made a very good point about the type of people who you think would actually want to play it. So it's just it's just investors selling this stuff to each other back and forth.
Oh, well,
And
he's
that's
riling
all
up
it is.
the people that watch his videos that like to invest
Right.
in a sports card, and they're going, oh, we can make money on this product. And they
so
don't
just
care.
telling us to invest
Oh, yeah.
in the Loricana, it's gonna be good.
And
I mean,
that's
such
how
a
you're
great
going to
track
bump the
record.
price up on it, because you have 200 and some thousand followers, and you're going to have a percentage of those that are like, oh, well, if Jeff's in on this, clearly I'm going to get in on it too. And all these people trying to get in on it is what's going to cause the price to go up, which is going to cause anybody who has allocations of it to make a lot of money, and the people who want to play the game to not be able to get the game.
Right.
So anyway, I think that's a good place to leave it for the week.
Let's talk
Gross,
10 more
just
minutes
gross.
about Geoff Wilson.
No, we talk way too much about him, but and again, like, the game could be popular, like Joe, you said, like, it doesn't have to be a one or the other thing. Like, you can play both. Like, it's just like the tone of his video is so different than all his other content that he was doing it on purpose. The question is why? Why would he be actively picking a fight with a whole community of collectors that collects something different than he does? But who cares? Like, we all collect different stuff.
And know
Why
way
is he
more
doing
about
it?
it
Just
than
ask
him.
yourself that.
They
Absolutely.
they know way more about it than he does. And what's kind of funny about this whole thing is he's Mr. Hobby Positivity, right?
Yeah.
He comes out and complains so much about negativity in the hobby, and you got to stop with the negative comments, and you can't call me out on anything because that's negative. But then he puts out a video throwing Pokemon collectors under the bus.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, dude. Stay in your lane. That way I don't have to deal with you. You're in that lane. I don't want to have to deal with you at all.
Yeah, those poor Pokemon collectors.
I know,
All right, guys.
They're so lucky. They were so lucky.
Yeah, they were. All right, we'll wrap it up there. That was a long discussion this week, but I think we hit everything we needed to hit. So till that, I will see you next week. Take care.
Adios.
Guys.